Welcome to another episode of DIY Speed. My name is Isaac, I'm your host, and on today's episode, I'm going to be working on a Yamaha Blaster that has many issues. This thing was rode hard and put away wet, and I'm trying to see if I could get this thing to last another summer. So join me, we're just going to jump right into this video, so I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Try not to strip any of these as I go. I have the AC running in the background, what a luxury that is. See, there's teeth on this plate. It's like a backing plate, just holds it from coming off, backing off that sprocket, like this. Yep. Once that's off, you have access to where you need to go. This is the seal. It just was finger tight. It wasn't in there good. The real issue is whoever was in here last used an incredible amount of RTV on everything. There's RTV. I went ahead and cleaned that up the way that it should look. Well, for the most part, you can still see plenty of RTV. I took the new seal, slid right on, grabbed the output shaft, and it spins in the bore. So now I'm thinking, all right, this is the third seal that's gone into this. The last guy RTV'd the shit out of it, and the reason why is pretty evident. If you look on the right side of the seal, it is completely walled out to the point where there is space. I could probably fit just a flathead in there. I know this is inappropriate, but I called Libby's Motor World and they said you need a whole new cover, whatever, much money. It's gonna cost a lot to fix. I already have this. It's gonna cost me about 15 cents to give it a shot. And if it works, you get another season out of this quad. So let's see what happens. You know, my dentist once told me, not my best work, but it'll do. Before I put the fuel tank on and start this thing again, I had a little bit of an issue putting the throttle cable in. What would happen is throttle cable worked fine outside of the bike, but as soon as you put it in, it had a bunch of slack in it. And I figured out by checking some online forums that whoever was in here last put it in wrong. This is called a TORS system. There's like, you could delete this, TORS, I don't know what it stands for, but inside of the top of the carburetor right here is a spring and a slide, and that slide needs to be clocked properly. Like there's a guide pin it needs to go in order for this thing to work properly. So what was happening is the last guy was in here was just shoving it in, tightening it down. You start the bike, it revs to the moon, there's got to be a problem with it, right? Well, no, that's not the issue. Issue was that wasn't clocked right. So now there's no play in what was a bad throttle cable. Works like new. Let's put the gas tank back on this thing and start it up. Still wants to just rev to the moon, but it wasn't as bad this time. Okay. What you saw yesterday was me attempt to start this thing after readjusting the slide in the carburetor, and it still revs really high. It dawned on me that I just walked away. I'm like, all right, let me walk away. I actually made a short and asked for help, got a couple answers. And it dawned on me at some point yesterday afternoon that I had been playing with the throttle cable adjustment in order to make it work with all the slop when the slide was not adjusted. And I completely forgot that I had this backed all the way out. That's better. All right, that was it. Very good. Okay, it's still dumping oil out of that transmission seal, so I have yet to figure that out, but it now runs and throttles and idles, which is really dope. Excuse the fan in the background. It got smoky in here real quick, so I got to air it out. I put oil in it yesterday. I lost all the oil. I put my hand underneath the sprocket here to feel for leaks from the transmission seal. My finger's completely, or output drive shaft is completely dry. So got on my back, looked underneath it, and it's dripping from underneath the case in one of the seams. So something tells me I have to stand this machine up on its back wheels facing straight up so I can get a clean look at the bottom of the engine, and then make a decision of how I'm going to repair that leak. You find out a lot about a machine when you start working on it like this. For instance, where'd the bolts go? Adjustable, but at their softest setting, which is why this thing bottoms out with me on it every time I touch. I just gotta look at it and the thing bottoms out. Why do the brakes look so sketch? Is that bolt over there supposed to look like that? I don't think so. None of this looks correct. Whew, sketchy. This was, in my opinion, one of those bikes where, you know, like the biker gangs with masks on ATVs and dirt bikes parade around town terrorizing people. This was one of those bikes. I didn't buy it. It's not even mine. It's Zaz's. It's my buddy's. And he bought it for like $500. No title, of course, because none of these things ever have titles. I should probably try to get that into the bucket here. So what I'm doing is just spraying it off with some brake clean. I'm pretty sure the leak is coming from that poorly sealed gasket surface here, and you can see there's a bunch of RTV on it. So what I'm gonna do is clean it up real good, make sure those bolts are tight, and then figure out resealing that temporarily. The liquid nails seems to have done a great job in that seal, completely dry. So let me finish spraying this off, and then we'll clean it up a little bit. Just bear with me on this. The first screw I touched was finger tight, and it's also stripped. So I can imagine that everything here is either stripped, stripping, about to strip, and is loose. Yeah, all of these, look at whoever touched this last. That Phillips head up there is stripped. This one down here is stripped. Where am I still leaking fluid from? I'm still leaking gas out of it from somewhere. Right? No, that's oil. So every single screw on this cover was completely loose. So I've tightened them all down. It's stopped leaking oil out of it. So that might have been our oil leak. So let me refill it. That did not take long to realize the clutch does not engage properly. So that's a thing. I mean, it engages almost immediately, so maybe this is too far out and needs to be brought in. Is that how clutches work? I don't know. That made it worse. More problem solving. What have we fixed so far? The throttle works properly. It's not dumping oil out of the output shaft or the case anymore. However, the clutch adjustment is terrible, and this is backed all the way out, and this thing still engages the clutch. So I need to figure out why. I would have liked to have been riding this thing, but it needs a new clutch. So I got to order a clutch for it, and it's going to sit another few months most likely before it runs. Hopefully it gets a couple miles before summer's over. And that's enough of this Blaster for now. Gentlemen, we're just going to have to leave this here until I order a clutch kit for it, put a new clutch, and then hopefully it'll be good to go. It still needs all the work. I mean, everything on it's loose, missing bolts. This is a total hack job owned by a teenager that was up to nefarious things, most likely. But that's all right. Next video coming out, it's going to be on this Dodge Dakota. It's the $500, well, now it's a $650 Dodge Dakota, and it'll soon be an $800 Dodge Dakota. But everything about it is mint, aside for the brakes not working. It needs some brake lines, and the rear frame rail could use a patch, which I'm just going to go ahead and do so I don't try to sell this to somebody while it's not patched. My plan is to sell that. That's worth good money. In other news, dropped the video last night. The Rust Rocket got the new decals on it. I think it looks freaking sweet. I ordered a nitrous kit for it. Went on Nitrous Express, ordered a Proton Plus kit for it with the 150 and 250 nozzles. So this is going to be good. I believe it's a 250 nozzle that comes in. It might only go up to 150, but that's fine. Put a 150 shot on it. This thing will be close to, 450 horsepower if it's still got the original 3. And that's going to be sweet. So look out for these videos as they come out. I really do appreciate everyone that subscribes, likes, engages, comments. Whether you have something good to say or bad to say, I need it. I'll take it. And I don't sell anything to you guys. I don't have any merch. The support I get is really just by viewers. So just by view count. I'm not asking for anything from you aside for a like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Maybe watch it a few times. Leave it on replay while you're not at home so I get the views. Anyways, thank you very much. This has been an episode. On to the next one. I'll see you next time.